Hi, my name is Harrison Mellon. In this video we are going to talk about the A7, the original A7, which is here. Is it in focus? It's a full-frame camera that was launched in 2014. It has a 24 megapixel sensor. This camera can shoot at 1080p video up to 60 frames per second, which is a pretty good sensor with a pretty good low light performance. It has the old battery of Sony, which is called the MP-FW50, which is a relatively small battery that will only last for about 150 shots and maybe a 30 minutes recording time when it comes to videos. When it comes to photos, can shoot in 24 megapixel photos and can shoot JPEG and RAW at the same time. The video aspect of this camera is can shoot at 1080p videos up to 60 frames. There is no 720p option on this camera. I don't know why, but it actually takes a pretty good photos. In the front we get the display button, white balance, and the dial for changing the ISO. And we have the mood button dial. We have the mood dial, turn on and off switch, and another dial for the shutter speed. And this camera has 3 different custom buttons, which is pretty good. This camera got only one SD card slot, which is not ideal for some situations, and does support Wi-Fi and NFC. This camera has this weird articulate screen. I wouldn't call it weird, but it does tilt up and down, and that's it. The only thing that I don't like about this camera is that the autofocus does suck actually in video mode most of the time. But in photos it is not the best, but it is good enough. On the left side of the camera we have the HDMI, the mini or the macro. This is the macro HDMI and the USB-A. On the same side we have the microphone 3.5 input and the headphone jack. I did a lot of shooting with this camera in the past few years. I've shot a lot of weddings, a lot of wedding videos and photographs with the same camera. I did a pretty good job until it got replaced by my FX30, which is I'm recording on the moment. The thing that I really like about this camera, it is a pretty good camera in low light situations. It's all known about Sony. I'm going to share some of the pictures that I've taken with samples, videos and photographs. The price point of this camera I'm going to write here. I'm not sure about, because you are not going to find this camera new these days because it's a fairly old camera. You can find it on eBay. One of the few things that I don't like about this camera is the recording button. It's too small for me. Sometimes you are not sure if you pressed or didn't press the button. I'm going to trying to show it to you. It's fairly a small button. I didn't really like. Another thing which is too bad for this camera is the battery life, which is pretty bad when it comes to videos. It will maybe last you for 25 to 30 minutes shooting videos while shooting in 1080p 60 frames per second. The only thing that will be helpful to get while using such a camera is to get a dummy battery, which I have here. It's a dummy battery to USB with a power bank. which you can use actually as a power source for such cameras, because this camera does not require a high watt power source, so you can actually be pretty good with any power bank that's fairly big. Such a power bank, which is a 20,000 milliamp, will last you for probably 20-25 hours of runtime, which is pretty good considering what the internal battery gives you. And this is the end of our video. Thank you for watching.